Welcome to Married to Movies. Industry insiders John Russell and Tracy Kring live and work happily in cinematrimony. They're sharing behind-the-scenes adventures of writing, producing, and appreciating films.
Good morning, babe.
Good morning, babe.
What's
How you doing?
up?
Hey, I found this shirt.
Okay.
Yeah, I found this shirt. It was like deep into the like going to Mordor to find it in my closet, and it feels like a fall shirt, and it's getting very fall.
It looks like you found it in the very back of a drawer.
The debate was this week. There were, I think, 67 million people who watched the debate.
I thought you said it was like 80s.
No. It was like 67 million people. 51 million people watched the initial debate.
I remember thinking it was almost double.
Oh my God. Tracy, will you just take my...
Fake news.
No, not fake news. Okay. So that's 16 million people that decided that they did not want to watch the Biden-Trump debate, but they did watch the Kamala and Trump debate.
No, I'm going to have to correct you there.
Okay. Because I said Kamala, I didn't say Harris.
Yeah.
This is a thing with you.
Women in importance and power, the tendency is not to call them by their last name in the same way that you would call a man.
Right.
You don't call him Joe.
Right.
You call him Biden.
Right.
You didn't call him Barack.
Right.
You called him Obama.
You call him Obama. Right.
You didn't call him George. You called him Washington.
But we say
But you say
Kamala instead of saying Harris.
Yes. And it's a sign of disrespect.
And we don't say Donald. We say Trump.
Yes.
I think it's very interesting.
Yeah, you call him Einstein, not Albert.
Okay, I understand that. Okay, this is not something that I'm doing on purpose. Okay,
yeah, you are. And
I'm not.
Other people are doing it. Everyone is doing it.
Okay,
not on purpose.
Okay,
but that's the problem.
There are people out there who will tell you they have facts. Okay, and all their facts are being used for is to beat other people down.
There really aren't facts.
That's true.
There really aren't.
That's true. Facts are...
They are always subject to
change.
There's
always information. There's always new information. And it is a...
it was a fact that if you got an infection, you would die.
That's true.
That's not a fact anymore.
Right.
If you're basing your strong convictions on facts... Like, maybe experience is a better, teacher.
Maybe empathy. Maybe caring. Maybe thinking about what if that was me?
At least if I've had the experience, like that's how you learn to cook.
Mm-hmm.
You do things, you try them out. Maybe it worked for someone in a recipe, but it didn't work for you.
Right.
And you have to learn your own method.
Right.
I don't think it's a fact of how much baking powder to put in a thing every time. When you have a conviction that this is the fact, you must be open to that fact changing.
Well, the letter killeth and the spirit giveth life. Okay, and the letter is a fact. Just don't hurt people. Don't hurt people with facts. Don't hurt people with figures. Don't try to abuse, especially people who half killed themselves to get to this country.
Oh, who probably would be dead if they weren't here.
Yeah.
I mean, Haiti's never in the news. Never.
Oh, well, and anytime Haiti is in the news, it's like another coup, another earthquake, another nightmare.
I mean, it's like I don't even hear it.
Well, yeah. The only time you hear about Haiti is when Haiti is like falling apart and exploding. So, okay. Speaking of political, last night we watched Civil War.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You watched it.
You watched about half.
Oh man, I got to the point where they realized that it was futile. Like whatever. Once that guy, I mean, this is what happened.
Jesse Plemons?
No. After Jesse Plemons.
Okay, after
once
Jesse
they got
Plemons,
to
okay.
to Charlottesville or whatever that.
Charlottesville, yes.
Okay, once they got to Charlottesville, and they found
Which was
out,
an interesting choice to use Charlottesville, considering what happened in Charlottesville with the whole, anti-Semitic, going through with the torches and all that type of thing. They were late and missed the story. They thought that they could get to Washington, D.C. before this happened so that they could get an interview with the president before D.C. got invaded.
Okay,
yes.
Gotcha. So once he realizes that...
By the way, spoiler alert.
Fuck you. Once they realize that this is a waste of time and
Yes.
they are not going to be able to accomplish their task,
Correct.
I fall asleep. And I'm sure a lot of what was to come was a lot of war.
It was a lot of action. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of action.
A lot of action, yeah.
But up to that point, I really didn't give a fuck what was happening.
Right.
I mean, there was not one character to hang on to.
Yeah. Well, I disagree. That one actor, the African American guy, he was like the grizzled reporter.
the old tubby guy.
Yeah. He was definitely my favorite.
Yeah, but they did make fun of him a lot for how old and how fat he was.
It's not very nice.
No, it wasn't very nice. It was well done.
Yeah.
I just don't think there was a lot of story.
The message was war's bad.
No, yeah, war's bad. But it was one of those movies where it's like really simple.
Oh yeah.
It was like a let's get hairy movie. It was like,
yeah, but you like those movies.
I do normally.
Yeah.
Like a very simple, like 1917. Go deliver a message.
It did kind of remind me of 1917 in that way.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was like, go interview the president.
Right.
That was
and we love those kind of road movies where you're just like going from like
town
kind of
to town,
weird place
thing.
to weird place to
I mean, that's
meeting
what the
weird
whole Walking
people.
Dead
And
series was,
exactly.
and it was
Right.
good.
The road. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Stephen King to me, and I love anything that he writes where it's that.
Right.
Like The Stand or Cell. I love those
But these
too.
were not compelling characters.
No.
And they purposefully removed all motivation
Well, you
from
had
it. Like we didn't know why people were fighting. We didn't know what they cared about
brought up
at
a great
all.
point. Why the hell were they taking pictures?
Yeah.
And where were the pictures going? The guy said at one point they work for Reuters. And I'm like, okay. I've not seen one damn internet page. I've not seen one newspaper.
Right.
Where are these photos going?
Why wouldn't you be taking video instead of taking pictures?
And I did see some people with older video cameras.
Right.
And all of the cameras were not terribly modern.
It was almost like an alternate reality
She
kind
was
of a
like
thing.
developing film in like a travel developer.
Right.
And it's like, but she had a cell phone.
Yes.
I just didn't understand why.
I think that they were going for kind of an alternate reality type thing.
But for technology, there's a really easy way to alter the course of technology and make it, let's say, 1999,
Mm-hmm.
but in an alternate reality. You just never landed on the moon.
Sure.
The
Absolutely.
space race
Yeah.
never happened.
Something like that. Yeah.
Very simple.
Right.
What technology would look like if that hadn't happened.
I just felt like in an attempt to sort of remove all of the motivation and just turn it into like, okay, this is war corresponding and these are all these different kinds of people that want to be war correspondents. You just sort of lost giving a shit about anything, really.
I cared more in up close and personal.
Oh, jeez. Oh my gosh.
Tally.
That
Isn't
is
her
a
name?
that
Tally? Yeah, but okay, the way that they built up
Robert Redford and
Redford's
Michelle
character
Pfeiffer. Yeah.
to be like this major badass,
Yes.
you know? And the way like this young, like the ingenue is like,
Yeah.
oh, you're so amazing. I love your work. And
It's
I
not
love
weird that Robert Redford could have had Michelle Pfeiffer as his daughter in that
That was
movie.
weird?
Yeah, it was weird.
I'm not gonna say it wasn't, and I'm not even a Redford fan, but I like that movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's cheesy.
Right.
I know it's not good.
Right. But it's probably going to last longer in your mind than Civil War did.
We see a flashback of some of the really bad crap she's seen, but it's like that has shaped her entire personality.
Right. But we don't
to be dull to it.
Right, exactly. To be dulled to it, but we never have
But
a
that's
moment.
not really how people work.
We never have a story. We never have a sitting there and talking about it. We never have
to suppress that much and suppress that kind of events
Right.
and experience will come out in other ways.
Right.
Recklessness, which she really wasn't.
Right.
Anger, like any of the normal ways. That was like when you squeeze one of those little stress balls and it pops out the
Little
top
head,
of your hand.
yeah, little eyeballs come out. Yeah, that's true.
She didn't have like anything that popped out
No.
as a
No.
negative effect of this
No.
depression, which made it really not believable at all.
I love Alex Garland's movie Annihilation. I think that is a wonderful
love that
movie.
movie.
It was a brilliant movie. I was watching a filmmaker who loved movies like Apocalypse Now and Platoon and always wanted to
But
do his own war movie.
He get
And
why
he
they're
got-
good?
He got money to have helicopters and a bunch of squibs.
But you have
and
to understand why a thing's good. It's not
Right.
actually just the visual.
I agree.
Okay?
I agree.
You could listen to Apocalypse Now only,
Right.
and it would be a good film.
Well, and also talk about listening. The music cues were weird. It was like they were trying to be so quirky with
Oh,
the
man.
music, like so
music-
out of the box.
I was like, wow, this is just a music video. It's like a tiny scene with not much exposition and a huge music video.
and weird music. Do you remember Generation Kill? That
Yeah.
series? That was a really good series.
Wasn't that the first time we saw Skarsgård?
Skarsgård? I don't know if it was the first time we saw
was one of the
Skarsgård,
first
but
times.
yeah. But it was that
The whole
was
Jarhead era.
yeah, exactly. Oh, Jarhead. That's another great movie.
I love Jarhead because it's basically like they get really screwed up in the head because they're in like fight or flight mode and nothing happens.
And they never get to fight.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
they
just,
never
like,
get to fight.
really fucking with their brains,
Right.
You know?
Exactly. Right.
And
they've
that's
been
like-
built to be this thing and they never get to be it.
Yeah, and we know like that's the source of PTSD. Like we're
Mhm.
aware of that now.
Right.
You know, those neural pathways getting worn the fuck out by that constant alerted state,
hmm
but nothing ever happens to relieve it.
You know what we didn't end up talking about last week when we were talking about Michael Keaton?
What?
You want to talk about a movie that lasted? Is My Life.
Oh god. You know, I feel like not many people have seen that though.
I don't know. I mean, it's Nicole Kidman, who is so just sort of, she's just like floating and glowing in that movie.
Yeah, she is angelic.
Yeah.
But oh my god. Every single time I watch that movie, I get violently ill. Every time.
Wow. That is one hell of a film review.
I cry.
If you want to get violently ill, watch My
I
Life.
cry so hard. Like you should just I tell you what. I will sacrifice myself.
No, I do not want you to sacrifice
No,
yourself.
you should because you've never seen this. I don't think I've watched it since we've been together.
No, don't do it.
You should watch it with
This
me.
is a mistake.
It's like my head tries to explode.
Then we
It's
shouldn't
not.
do that. That's a bad idea.
I
believe you. It is an incredibly, I mean, come on. Circus in the backyard? Are you kidding me?
the pressure from the snot and tears in my face.
I know.
Builds up to where it actually like runs back into my ears and I get a violent ear infection right after watching that movie.
This great father.
No, he's not father.
Oh, he's not. Oh, yeah. He's not a father.
He
You're
just
right. He
found
becomes
out
a
his
father.
wife is pregnant.
Right.
And he just found out he's going to die.
He's going to die. He has cancer.
And he starts making all these videos for his future child so that he can know him.
Which my favorite video is when he's showing him how to shave. You can go like this. You can go like this. Never like this.
Yeah.
No. And I've lived by that, folks.
Yes.
Never like this.
Never like that.
Exactly. Doing work to get work.
Yeah. I was talking to my friend. They are working on working up a budget and working up, to try and pitch it because these people want a documentary. They brought up the fact that, my edit quote, someone else had looked at the budget and said that could be done cheaper, that line item.
Sure.
And I was like, well, sure. I mean,
Oh, you can always find somebody who will do it cheaper.
Someone will always do it cheaper.
Absolutely.
But I will point out that they're not going to be me.
No, they're not going to be you.
They're not going to be what I am.
They're not going to mother through the project. They're not going to throw
you get
themselves
a lot more than editing out of me.
I mean, you were sitting there and you were just listening to song after song after song after song for probably an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Trying to find a piece of music, the perfect music. And what did I say?
You said you're fixated.
You're fixated.
Need to stop now.
You were obsessing about this.
No, but
But you did finally find the perfect song, and then you cut the whole thing to it.
But whenever I turned it in, immediately was like, oh my God, I've watched this 20 times and I absolutely love the music. It's perfect. But I'll sit there for an hour and a half. I think a lot of people, if you care about your job, you will sit there until you get the right thing or what you perceive as the right thing.
The idea that we are, and this is kind of a new phenomenon, okay? Because the market has been saturated so hard that people will basically do the job that they want to get the job. They want.
And honestly, that's something that I do. I think that's something I've done for a very long time. I'll just start working.
Right.
And then you're going to give me the job.
So this happens with acting now, where they will say, okay, here's for an audition, you'll get a casting notice and it'll say, we would like you to read this copy and video yourself.
Yeah, you're basically.
And if we end up using it, we're going to end up giving you $500.
Yeah, you basically have to do the job to get the job.
Exactly. But are they always going to tell you? Or are they just going to use it?
If it was in some other country or some corporate application,
that shit is shady.
How would you know?
Oh, man.
Even making a resume is work. You're going to have to do some work to get work. And give into that process and make it count, Right. When I'm doing work to get work, I know I'm getting the work.
Do not lament the reality of the day. It doesn't do you any good to go, well, I shouldn't have to do that. Well, you do.
Yeah.
You do.
You
okay.
Do.
Doesn't matter if you should or shouldn't have to. You do.
Yeah.
And just learn how to enjoy it. I think, though, we've kind of done this with Origian. When we show Origian to people, we actually can show them a visual representation and us reading through the entire thing. I think that was pretty smart of us. Interior shuttle garden space. Matthew is standing outside the door of the garden that was shaken loose by the speed experiment. He opens up a panel and is immediately doused in a hydraulic fluid. He's shocked, and then his countenance changes to a smile.
Interior shuttle cockpit space. Emmeline is doing calculations to re-engage the warp drive. Matthew walks up covered in brown liquid. Emmeline, what's that? Are you okay?
I got doused by the door.
Is it fixed?
Huh? No, not yet. I'll get to it.
Wipe off as much of that as you can. I don't want it contaminating our filter. I'm re-engaging warp.
The Lyra spaceship flashes out of sight. Interior shuttle garden. Day. Emmeline is gathering vegetables and adding nutrients. Matthew is standing in the doorway working to fix the errant mechanism. He has his shirt off and is sweating. She looks up at him and he flexes for her. She blushes. Can you help me? Emmeline sets her basket down. There's a nut here that I can't get to on my own. Can you hold it while I tighten? They get very close to each other as she maneuvers her wrench. They are forced into a very uncomfortable position.
Emmeline, I'm not sure why they designed this to be impossible for one person to fix.
I guess they never expected this to be a problem.
Or they thought you'd be able to use your feet.
Good thing I'm around.
I'm sure there's a tool that would have done the job.
Thanks a lot. He steals a kiss. She smiles.
That's not what we're doing right now.
She scoots into an awkward position and looks up at him, straining. He looks down and smiles. I think about having sex.
When?
When I go to bed, and then when we shower sometimes.
I meant, when do you want to have sex?
You think about it?
I think we should try now, or as soon as possible.
Now? Okay.
I've never done it before.
Me either. They walk to the bedroom. Sitting on the bed together, they kiss as Matthew tenderly lays down on top of her.
Interior, dining area space. Matthew is wrapping his bar in vegetables, and Emmeline sits down across from him. He looks over, and she's pushing her food away.
Still? No better?
I'm so sick of this.
Is there something wrong with the food? But if there's something wrong with the food, I'd be sick too.
It just happens, not even when I eat.
Well, something's different.
Well, what's changed? When was the last time I felt not sick?
I can't remember.
Yeah, me either. Your birthday?
The jump? The speed. Okay, I could see maybe something with your inner ear. Like, are you dizzy? Remember, that made me puke.
Possibly, but I'm not dizzy.
Emmeline thinks, then leaves. She comes back with a case and opens it. Inside is a device which she turns on. She holds it up to her head. I haven't used that thing since school.
Me either.
She scans and looks at the screen at the device.
Wait, say that again.
She scans and looks at the screen on the device.
Nothing.
So, not the ear.
She keeps scanning. Emmeline, we did have sex.
But that's not possible.
I didn't have the surgery. I refused.
She starts to scan her abdomen. What? All girls had it.
We had the choice, but you had it.
I
so
didn't have it. She looks at the screen and then shows it to Matthew. They look at each other.
There's no contingency for this. That got hot and heavy.
Get
I
down
always
on
feel
it.
so weird.
What?
Whenever,
Doing a sex scene?
Look.
What?
The two squirrels fighting. Love is in the air, evidently.
So there was a whole thing
There's a whole thing.
with these earrings.
Yeah, and I actually learned a lot from these earrings.
You learned a lot
I
from
did.
your earrings.
I did.
Okay.
I have like this thing for gold ball earrings. I just really like them.
Tracy has there's something that she likes, and then she just it becomes her favorite thing.
Well,
She becomes so excited by it.
the first pair of gold ball earrings I ever got were like from my dad,
Mm-hmm.
and I just thought they were so pretty and special.
Just simple and
but
just
lovely.
lovely.
I felt like, ooh, gold earrings. Like they were real,
Right.
And I just felt like, I guess like princessy.
Mm-hmm.
I just felt really special.
Mm-hmm.
So I loved them.
You are very special, babe.
Thank you. You had picked these out,
Mm-hmm.
and I loved them.
Right.
Even though I loved them, I was a little careless, and I left them on a table.
Mm-hmm.
And something in the course, they got knocked into the floor, and you stepped on one.
Yes.
And I remember I kind of flipped out.
I remember you made me feel horrible about it.
Yeah, it was like, oh, I can't have anything.
Oh,
nice.
God. That phrase, I can't have nice things. It's just like, oh,
hate
God, I do really
I don't blame
hate
you.
that.
It's a jerky thing to say.
I really hate that.
They were dented. In my mind, they were ruined. They
You
were
ruined.
garbage.
Right.
But I kept them because I still loved them.
You still love them.
And then flash forward 5 or 6 years later.
Mm-hmm.
I'm over there at my office, and I have like all these little tiny jewelry box collections, and I open up one that I really don't look in anymore.
Right.
And I saw the earring.
You saw one earring, and
Yeah.
then you said to me, I love these earrings. I'd love to get another pair of these.
Yeah. And you were like, well, what's wrong with these? And I'm like, well, I think either like you stepped on one or one is messed up.
Right. And then
I only have
and
one
then the
now.
PTSD came back.
But then I found the other one.
You found the other one right there.
And you looked at them both and you were like, wait, I don't see anything wrong
I
with
didn't see
these.
anything. No.
Yeah. And I'm like, I looked at them and I'm like, yeah, I don't see anything wrong.
Mhm.
Like, why did I think that I couldn't wear them anymore? Why
Right.
did I think they were ruined? And eventually, while playing with them, I did feel
Just a
the teeniest, tiniest little dent.
little dent.
But it's like on the very back side of the ball. So It's not visible.
It's not visible.
It's not visible when you wear them.
Right.
So what happened was, I love these earrings.
Right.
You stepped on them, or stepped on one. You
Right.
stepped on one.
Right.
I wrote a story to myself that said they're ruined.
Right.
I can't wear them anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I put them away. 5 or 6 years later, I find them. They're perfectly wearable.
Right.
That story I told myself.
Now, let me ask you this.
Was a lie. Was
Is
stupid.
this because you have changed? Or is it that your standards have changed?
No.
In other words, were they ever really dented?
No. Yeah.
They were, but
no.
Perspective.
This is what happened.
Okay.
This is what happened in my mind.
Right.
I love gold ball earrings because I equate that with my dad giving me a pair of earrings that he loved me and I love them.
Right.
And you stepped on that and you ruined that. That's the story that I heard in my head.
Right.
And now that they're ruined, I don't get them anymore.
Right.
Or I don't deserve them anymore because I let them get hurt. I was careless.
Wow.
They got hurt. I mean, these are the kinds of stories
That's
that we
a
tell
lot.
ourselves, though.
I mean, that's a lot. That's like a really complicated, crucifixion that you're doing on yourself.
But don't we all do this to ourselves?
Yeah.
So when I'm looking at them now and they're perfectly wearable, no one would ever think there was anything wrong with them at all. But this whole time, because of a really stupid, inaccurate story I told myself, I have denied myself the pleasure of having worn them for 5 or 6 more years. What I asked myself, the lesson that I got from that, not only like clearing out that really stupid story I told myself, was if I could do that over a pair of earrings, what else have I done that with?
I mean,
what else have I written off?
That's a good point.
Stopped, turned my back on. What else have I done in a similar fashion? If I could write that little story and be so absolutely convinced of it that I found them later and was like, I have no idea why I did that.
Right.
Like, what else am I doing like that?
It's a really good point.
And I really believe that the universe has a way of pointing them out.
I think that's true.
That once you become aware of a thing, it's like it keeps coming up.
Right.
So I'm on the lookout for what else have I written off as damaged. Because I'm very much a person who, like, once something's screwed up, like, I'm not a glue person.
Right.
I don't really glue things together.
Right.
Once it's ruined, I just like throw it away. It's written off.
Right.
And I could see also how I do that to people.
Jeez.
Once we have like a giant fight, I'd rather just throw you away.
Oh my God! Wait! Whoa! This just took a turn, man.
No, I mean, how you do small things is how you do everything.
Ooh, who almost got written off was Dave Grohl this week.
Eek,
man. I mean, it happens, Unfortunately, it's happening in front of the whole world. Which he had a kid with.
If I were his wife, like,
oof.
I would have gotten mad about that post.
Well, yeah, but see, what are your options? I mean, you can't hide it. That's the way they used to do it.
Here's the thing.
Do you remember when David Letterman came out? They were going to someone was going to blackmail him, and he came out on the show and said, "I had an affair."
But how come men always get to do that?
Interesting.
Think about the biggest one probably ever in the history of ever is Bill Clinton.
True.
And Hillary's still sitting next to him.
True.
And saying, I forgive him.
Well, are you saying that there's something wrong that women are forgiving and staying?
I'm saying you have a choice in whatever you want to do as a woman. That's feminism.
Well, I'm
just saying, why can't she post
Why can't she be the
everyone,
one?
this is what's happening.
This
in
is
my
what's
life.
happening. Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm staying with Dave. But
I'm committed to my
holding
marriage and
his
my
ass
family.
to the fire.
But
Yeah.
I am fucking furious.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And this is not going to be easy
That-
for me.
that
and this
might-
is going to take a lot for me.
That might make her a heroic figure.
Well, I just think like it's an innate shame
Yeah.
that we have caused this.
Yeah, it's true. No.
And we don't come out and say, fuck that guy. Fuck that guy.
I think that's
because
fair.
we made a commitment. This is what we agreed to.
Right.
Now, some people don't agree to monogamy. Some people don't
Sure.
agree to certain things, and that's fine.
Absolutely.
But if they had made an agreement in their relationship,
I mean,
and he broke it,
this kind of thing, like, children with, out of wedlock, basically it was all kind of always hidden, always kind of covered up, never really talked about. So I appreciate the fact that he's being honest and he's saying, look, I did this. I'm going to take care of this kid.
that doesn't mean that he hasn't been unfaithful. at
No, of
other
course not.
times.
No, and it doesn't mean, and it's not like just because we're hearing about this now, doesn't mean that
heaven struggled with it.
right, exactly.
The thing is, there's a resulting child.
There is a
who's
child.
going to be born.
Right.
And I think, it would be great to hear a woman say, I get it. If I were in her position, I wouldn't want to have an abortion just to make his life easier.
Right.
I would want to have my child. I would want the support. I would want,
Right.
family on both sides to love this kid,
Mm-hmm.
and that's absolutely what I intend to do.
Right. Well, I mean,
And you get to be with me and make a mistake.
family is whatever you decide it is.
Right.
I mean,
But I just it's just annoying because the women never say anything. It's always like the dudes who get to say.
right.
And now, if you're the person who did the wrong thing, if that was wrong for them, which it sounds like it was, if you're the person who did the wrong thing, yes, it's great. But whenever it's reflecting upon your partner,
right.
because I think that's just the way that it happens.
Mm-hmm.
That even if the guy did the wrong thing,
Right. It makes her look bad.
it still makes her look bad.
Yeah.
It still makes her look
It makes
simpy.
her look weak,
Yeah.
simpy,
Yeah.
cuckish, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. It makes her look like she wasn't worth enough because he went somewhere else. I want women to be able to speak their truth. And if him speaking his truth reflects poorly on her,
Right.
it's equally okay for her to speak her truth and it look poorly on him.
True.
Why would we protect that?
Well, I know what I think he should do is get her a pair of gold ball earrings and then step on them.
It's hard not to get romantic about movies. Thanks for listening to Married to Movies. Jon and Tracy will meet you for breakfast tomorrow.